Hi there, happy Tuesday. Today we're going to be doing a read aloud, and the read aloud is on the book called Not Norman, a Goldfish Story. There's the boy and there's the goldfish named Norman. When I got Norman, I didn't want to keep him. I wanted a different kind of pet. Now look, it's his birthday. You can tell by the birthday cake. And the look on his face, he's not exactly happy. What's that look when you don't really want something? You're maybe disappointed. Is that the big word we're looking for? I wanted a pet who could run and catch, or one who could climb trees and chase strings. A soft furry pet to sleep on my bed at night. Not Norman. All Norman does is swim around and around and around and around and around and around. So here's the picture. He's got Norman, and he wanted a different kind of a pet. This is it, Norman, I decide. I'm trading you for a good pet. Norman doesn't move. Not even a fin twitches. How can I trade him like this? No one will want a sorry-looking fish in a gunky bowl. When I drop Norman off into his nice, clean bowl, he starts dipping and flipping, flapping his fins around. He looks so goofy, I have to laugh. Don't think that just because you made me laugh, I'm going to keep you, I told him. Tomorrow, you're out of here. Norman blows a stream of bubbles. So look at this picture right here. He's like, your bowl's gunky. Gunky's a bad word, or another word for dirty. So here he cleans it, and here Norman's being silly and making bubbles. The next day, I take Norman to school with me. If I talk him up real good during show and tell, maybe someone will want him. On the way there, we see my friend Austin. Austin has a real cool dog and 7 puppies. Want to swap one of your pups for Norman, I ask? Who's Norman? Asked Austin. My goldfish, I say. But by the time I rescue Norman, half his water is gone. So there's his friend Austin. And see all the dogs that Austin has? And you see Norman? The dogs are doing what? Drinking out of Norman's fishbowl. I'm sorry, I tell Norman when we get to school. I'm really sorry. He just stares at me all googly-eyed. Finally, it's my turn to show and tell. But just as I start to talk about goldfish, Emily shouts, Jenny's gone! Who let my snake loose? Now here's a picture of him filling Norman's bowl. He says, I'm sorry. And then they're saying, Jenny, my snake is loose. Now, that's not a girl teacher. I'm a girl teacher. If there was a snake loose in my classroom, I'd be out of there because I don't do snakes. But, you know, they're all looking pretty calm at the moment. But then they run out of the classroom. That's more like what I would do. Does anyone hear the story of how I got Norman? Does anyone even ask to hold his bowl? No. They're all jumping and screaming and chasing the snake. Not Norman. He's looking right at me. Thanks for listening, I tell him. So it's at this point in the story I stop and ask you, what is the boy thinking about his fish? Because in the beginning, he didn't want the fish. And now he's slowly doing what? He's starting to change his mind. Do you ever do that? You decide you don't like something or you really like something and then you change your mind? I do that sometimes. That afternoon, we go to my music lesson, and as soon as it's over, I'm taking Norman back to the pet store. I take out my tuba and I begin to play. I glance over at Norman. He's swaying back and forth. Glug, 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 he mouths. Look, Norman's singing, I say. Pay attention, says Maestro, and try to play the proper notes. The teacher didn't necessarily like it. Now he was playing the trumpet, and here's what the trumpet sounds like. Bom, 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 ba, ba, boo, 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 bee. Say that with me. Bom, 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 boo, 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 bee. And look, Norman is singing along with the bubbles. Maestro makes me stay for extra practice. By the time the lesson is over, it's too late to go to the pet store. Don't think it's just because you like my music, but I'm gonna keep you, I tell Norman. He just glugs. That night I'm sound asleep when screech, screech. What's that noise? Scratch, screech, screech. Uh-oh, yikes, there's something at the window. And out of the corner of my eye, I spot, now by the way, look at his eyeballs. You can totally tell he's scared. I'd be scared if I heard noises too, wouldn't you? You know who he spots out of the corner of his eye? Norman. He isn't scared. He isn't swimming around in circles either. He glugs and he just gives me a little wave. I am not alone. Together, Norman and I slide open the curtains. It was just a broken tree branch. Thanks for watching out for me, Norman. Just a broken tree branch. On Saturday, I take Norman to the pet store just as like said I would. I look at the cats and dogs and snakes and birds. I look at the hamsters and mice and lizards too. They all look like good pets, but they are not Norman. So the boy changed his mind. When I got Norman, I wasn't sure I wanted to keep him. But now, even if I could pick any pet in the whole world, I wouldn't trade him. Not Norman. And on the top it says, Norman, one amazing fish. So one of the things I wanted to talk to you about with this book, boys and girls, is sometimes things happen, like this boy getting a fish that he didn't really want at first, that, you know, you don't like or you don't want to happen. Like, I'd rather be at school with you. I don't want to be at home. I mean, I like being with Gigi and Lulu, but I'd rather be at school teaching you than having to teach you on video. And I miss you and I love you, but I know that you're happy and safe and healthy at home. So we'll see each other again soon, but until then, we at least have this way to connect, and I'll see you on Zoom, and I'll send you letters in the mail, and I'll listen to you read on Seesaw, all of those things. I'm still here for you, boys and girls. And if you want to look at this book, it's called Not Norman, A Goldfish Story by Kelly Bennett. Until next time, bye.